The shit that y'all starting to normalize, I'm just not with it. How much more broken homes do y'all want to create? Like, I don't understand why this broken home thing is, like, so normalized. Like, oh, it's just regular. No, it's not.
Welcome to Suite Nubia Chats, where the dynamic perspectives of Black women worldwide take center stage. Here, we dive deep into everything from the latest trends and cultural moments to the pressing conversations shaping our world. Whether it's bold opinions, insightful stories, or inspiring journeys, Suite Nubia Chats is here to amplify the voices that deserve to be heard. Join our vibrant community and be a part of the conversations that are redefining narratives and highlighting the experiences of Black women. Hit that subscribe button and let's make some noise together. It's Suite Nubia Chats, where the voices of Black women count and every story matters. Welcome to the conversation. This content is created under the principles of fair use. Suite Nubia Chats videos include commentary, criticism, and educational content that is protected under fair use guidelines. I may use copyrighted material for the purpose of discussion and analysis, always with the intention of adding original value and context. All intellectual property rights remain with their respective owners. In today's video, we're taking a look at the Cam Newton viral clip with Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. If you haven't seen it yet, you can find the full 2-hour interview online. It quickly went from him interviewing the good doctor to her high-key giving Cam a counseling session. This grown man sat there, looked Dr. Bryant in the face, and told her that he's the father of 8 children, including one with his current girlfriend, but he still wants more kids, though he's not ready for a wife. Of course, the reactions went crazy, and I found a few to share with you. So grab those snacks and get comfortable while we hear what Black women have to say about the shenanigans. But first, I want to introduce you to his current girlfriend, who's his 3rd baby mama, Jasmine Brown.
But Jasmine had posted this, and this is her flyer. It says, "Baby Mama, Jasmine watched Jazzy Brown's 3rd Times the Charm tour." And then these are the cities I'm assuming that she's going to be touring in. And people were a little bit perturbed at her saying 3rd Times the Charm. Come on, Jasmine, what's going on, baby?
Now let's see the mental state of a woman who would willingly become the 3rd baby mama to a male who already had 7 kids with 2 women and never thought either one of them were good enough to marry.
What does a submissive woman do for her man?
Everything.
What does that mean?
You know, like packing his bag, unpacking his bag, just making sure all the things that he wants. And like, I pretty much read his mind. So it's like, if I know you and I study you, like I know how you are in the morning, I know how you are about midday, I know when you're in this mood, what you need. Like before you can ever ask me for something, I'm already on it. I mean, he's spoiled. And you know, when I talk to my girlfriends about it, I was like, "Oh, how you guys doing?" And I'm just like, "Girl, he's rotten." I'm like, he's spoiled rotten. Like, he's rotten. But I love that. Like, I want him to be that. I think my biggest flex is how I treat my man.
His humble, or not so humble, servant has spoken. So clearly, 3rd time's the charm, and she's definitely wife material, right? Watch a few clips from Cam's podcast episode, and we'll see if Jasmine's servitude has deemed her special enough in Cam's eyes.
So, I'm not married, right? I have beautiful children.
How many?
8.
I didn't do my research. I thought it was 4, but 8. Okay.
No, baby.
Cool.
It's
By how
8.
many women?
3. And this is the kicker. I want more.
By multiple women? What's the intent?
I just want God
about
to
your
bring
wife?
him. I just want God to bring him.
Oh, okay. And you have, so you just
Because my point is this. My desire to get married is lower than my fear of divorce. So, as you had said, Dr. Brian, you said it, I didn't say it, I will agree. I'm just taking my time.
You're not taking your time.
I am, though.
You're being very action-based. You're not taking your time. You're being very action-based.
I'm taking my time.
You're being very action-based. You have 8 kids with 3 different women.
Yes.
You are creating, procreating, and multiplying. That is not taking your time. You're being very selectively active. Okay? So you're creating, and disclaimer, the kids are innocent. They are beautiful and amazing. Anything I say has nothing to do with them babies, because I can't wait to be a mom, and I love the kids, period. But you are proactively choosing where you want to be active at and where you want to take your time. You want to take your time in having a wife because of your own fears. But you will, and I say this with all respect and love, what I'm about to say next, okay, Cam? But you will selfishly create broken families, even if you're in their life and you're a proactive father, and I believe you're an amazing daddy. I can only imagine with just your presence and knowing you thus far. But these families are still broken. Every child cannot have Papa in the house with them. So some child, if not all, will end up with some kind of deficit without daddy being there. Now, you chose to do that. I'm not saying you sat there and woke up one morning and said, I want to be selfish today, so I'm going to go make a baby. Not saying that at all. But those are selfish acts at the expense of your fear. So at what point do you feel the fear, do it anyways? And yeah, that is a low functioning behavior. To say that I am going to create these homes. Let me go better. I'm going to build these houses and put kids and these beautiful women and kids in them, but I ain't going to create a home in them. I'm going to wait till I dissipate my fear to find a wife where I'm still going to be fearful with, because there's no such thing as not having some type of nerve or some type of feeling behind marrying somebody who you're spending your life with. And then I'm going to build a home with her while all these other beautiful babies have houses. That's completely unfair and it's selfish.
Do you notice how he doesn't mention marrying Jasmine, though she bends over backwards to be his submissive, back-rubbing baby mama? Do you notice how he says he wants more children, but doesn't specify that he wants to build that family with her? As much as Jasmine spoils her man, it seems all that spoiling has turned him rotten. But you do you, boo. Okay, it's time to see these reaction clips and find out what Black women of TikTok think about the viral counseling session that got everyone talking.
Dr. Cheyenne out here doing the Lord's work. She turned that man every way but loose. And see, this is why men don't want to deal with certain type women, because they know they can't get away with it.
Let me just start off by saying that, number one, Cam Newton represents all of the men that have money, that equate their money, their accolades, and their accomplishments to who they are as a person. And they do not believe that they should be held to the same standard of society. Like, the rules don't apply to them. The arrogance, and for him to really have the nerve, I'm gonna say the audacity to invite a therapist on his show, an expert therapist, and try to paint that lady to not be qualified to be saying and speaking on the things that she was speaking on, because number one, the men that she was describing was him, and the women that she was describing is the women in his life, example, them baby mamas of his. Cam knew who he invited on his show, and he knew that it would get down to that conversation about him being a man with all them kids and all them baby mamas and all them broken homes. And he started off that interview from the jump in defense. He started it off from the jump in defense. He started it off from the jump to paint that lady a certain way, because he knew when it came all the way back around and the conversation got on him, that he was ready, y'all. He was really ready to go in on that lady, but he couldn't, because that lady stayed in her logic and she stayed out her feelings. And she is not the woman that a man like that would ever try to pursue for a relationship. Because when you are not in your feelings, ladies, and you was in your logic, they cannot manipulate you. And she did not let Cam manipulate her, not one time in that 2-hour interview. Cam Newton basically told that lady, you ain't married, you don't have no kids, and you didn't see a healthy relationship growing up, so you can't tell me anything about what I got going on. And if he feels like that about Dr. Bryant, then what do his kids' mother think that he think about them? He left them single, he left them with kids, he left them with broken homes. If he don't value Dr. Bryant, what do this say about the woman that he is impregnating? He feels the same way about them, and that's why they're not getting no rings. So let's talk about this Cam Newton podcast with Dr. Bryant. First of all, Dr. Bryant girl, she ate him up in the most classiest and sophisticated way, because a lot of people don't understand the difference between high value men and low functioning men. High value men can be low functioning, okay? Cam Newton is a prime example of a high value man who is low functioning. You have all the resources in the world, all the money in the world to be able to attain anything it is that you want, but you're low functioning because you have created several broken homes. Because as he stated, his fear of getting divorced is higher than whatever risk there is that comes with having more babies out of wedlock. Now, we've had this conversation before. Marriage is not the end all be all, but when we stick to the main topic here and we think about just fundamentally what that means for children, regardless of how you look at it, it is taking away from the other children who aren't currently in the home with the father. Okay, so let's take my situation, or let's use me as an example. I had a baby with a man who has other kids. Okay, my child, had I still been with her father, my child would get more time. She would experience more because her father is in the home. Whereas the kids who he is not a part of their lives full time because he and the mother are not together, that is a broken home. Those kids get a fraction of the time in comparison to what my daughter would receive. That is low functioning. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like I didn't make a mistake by having a baby with a low functioning man. Hell, I was operating at a level that was be considered low functioning. I was, because my desire to become a mother, but to become a mother with someone who did not have the capabilities or means to have a sustainable family or have a sustainable relationship, I didn't do my due diligence when it came to having a child with that man. But one of the worst part of the mistake, if we're gonna break it down to a more granular level, he wasn't high value either. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that a woman should take shit from a high value man who can provide you a lifestyle, right? But still deal with him being low vibrational or low functional. Either way, it's a lose-lose. But I don't understand how Cam wasn't able to realize how he is low functioning but high value. The amount of time that he's able to spend with his children just mathematically does not equal out to the amount of time that he's going to be able to spend with the child that he has with the mother that he's actually in a relationship with, that is in the home with him.
Sis, we're just getting started. But before we check out more videos, I can't forget to share with you my Suite Nubia online store. Visit www.etsy.com/shop/Suite Nubia. It's where we celebrate the beauty, style, and the dynamic nature of Black women through an exquisite collection of art prints you can hang on your home or office walls. Suite Nubia is more than just art prints. They're a statement of pride, culture, individuality, and visually stunning pieces that capture the essence of Black femininity. And of course, I have a special discount for you if you choose to grab a few prints to beautify your space or gift to someone you love. Purchase 3 or more art prints and you'll receive 15% off your entire purchase. The discount will be automatically applied at checkout. Plus, you'll receive free shipping. Now make sure you get yours today. Now back to the video.
This conversation with Cam Newton and Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is something that really highlights conversations that need to be had when you're dating men. There is some questions that we can't just not ask. Like, there's a lot of men who are like, oh, I want to have kids. But like, okay, you want to have kids, but do you want to be a father? A father do you plan to be? Do you plan to be an active parent? When I say active parent, what do you mean by that? The kids need so much more than just, 30 minutes, an hour of your time, even just a day. Like, imagine for the week. Like, there's nothing like having that family together, the father in the home, the mother in the home. I'm not saying that that's the only way that it can be done, but to be in the home is so different. It's a completely different experience. Like, you're having an everyday experience with that person. And there are some people who are having everyday experiences, and we see it every day on here on Beyonce's internet. There's some man who thinks that all he has to do is pop the seed in the oven, and that's it. Like, that's all that he's responsible for doing. Like, everything else is on the woman. So when they think of, oh, my child is taken care of, their physical needs are taken care of. But what about everything else? Like, when do you plan to, like, help them align their values, create their value systems, or model behavior for them? Like, that's not an hour a week, every other weekend situation. That's a everyday, as often as you can. And even sometimes, even when you can't, you have to. So when you're dating men, you have to ask, and it sucks to have to be that way, to have to ask like so many questions and so many particular questions, because their view on what parenthood is so different than what a woman's view on parenthood is. So understanding their perspective of what that looks like is so important before you even decide to start doing adult things with that man, because the only way to prevent pregnancy is abstinence. And I'm not on here him and him that that's what you need to do. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, if you don't want to be a baby mama, the only concrete way is to just not be performing.
I know everybody has a lot to say about this Cam Newton thing, about him going on the podcast and saying he has 8 kids by 3 different women, and he wants more, and he doesn't feel like he's creating broken homes. It's wild for many obvious reasons. But what I want to talk about is the women who are having these kids. What's going through your brain? Because no matter what you say, there is no argument that can be made to justify having 8 kids by 3 different women. You cannot be an active and present father for all those children. It's not possible. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how much free time you have. He cannot be a good father to all these kids. So for you as a woman to actively let this man get you pregnant, bringing a child into the world knowing that this kid is not going to have a real dad for real, and you still did it, I guess, because he's Cam Newton, he has the money to fund it. Like, are you serious? It's despicable on both sides. Both of y'all are equally wrong in this. Like, we've all seen the types of crazy behavior that women are willing to put up with as long as the behavior comes from a man with money. We've all seen that. Staying with a cheating husband, staying with a man that had a kid on you. We've all witnessed that. And I can understand, do what you want to do, can be me, but do you. But now you bringing kids into it on purpose, that's wrong. That is morally, that's not right. And you shouldn't feel good about that.
So why don't you tell me what you think the response would have been like to a woman of any race or body type or anything, any woman coming on any platform and telling people that she had 8 children by 3 different men? Please let me know what you think the backlash would have been like to her, not only in the comments, but like, I think we should start thinking about what the interviewer would have been saying about her as well. If a woman of Cam Newton's stature, or even, higher than Cam Newton's stature, came on and said that she had 8 children by 3 different men and tried to defend it, y'all, she would have to throw her phone in the fucking river. Y'all would crucify her.
It irritates me. I'm sorry. It irritates me. I don't understand this idea that just because you have money and just because you are well known, that somehow means that you are a good parent. You are a absent parent with a paycheck. And for Cam Newton to get his behind on there talking about, I'm still looking for a wife, I'm still having kids. What about the kids you've already brought into this world? You already have 8. And you cannot make me believe that you are able to give each one of those kids the love and support that they truly need, the nourishment that they truly need, the investment of time that they truly need. Because I look at like my mom, for example, and like I think back to when I was a kid and how much she poured into me. We not just talking finances. How much she would talk to me, how much we would spend time together, the trips we went on, the different, events that I specifically remember looking out in the crowd and seeing my mom and also seeing how proud she was of me. It takes more than just a paycheck to build up a child. And what a slap in the face to be in a relationship with somebody who also is a mother of your child and still sit here and say like, oh, I haven't found my wife yet. I'm still looking for her. You're still looking.
It's crazy. This lady's sitting here letting you know that it doesn't matter how much money you make, sir. Those children, some of them are going to be lacking emotionally, especially the ones that you're not in the home with. You want to talk about how you have a glowing reputation with your baby mama, and somebody said in the comments, didn't you just take back one of the baby mama's trucks or one of the cars? It's not glowing. It can't be glowing. 3 different women, 3 different personalities, 8 children, and you're one man? Hell, I think at the daycare it needs to be one parent, one adult to 6 kids, 7 kids. Like, sir, you created broken homes and you don't want to take accountability for that because your ego is broken and it's hurt. That's all it was. I mean, every time she was clocking him, I was like, damn. And she was doing it in a way that wasn't so nasty or negative or rude. She said, I'm saying all this with love. And I think he may have been upset because he feels like just because he makes a lot of money and he has a lot of accolades and fame that a woman should just want to be with him, but her standard is no kids. It doesn't matter how much money you have. She just says she won't date a man with kids. She said, I'm gonna date a 26-year-old with no kid versus dating a 40-year-old millionaire with 8 kids. I'm not gonna do that. Like, that is her standard, and she's allowed to have that standard. He just could not stand it, y'all. That man was fuming. He was really mad because he couldn't keep up with the conversation. She said the conversation was going over his dreads. She's like, bring it back, because you're taking it so personal. We're having a general conversation, and you inserted yourself as the experiment. So now, yeah, we're going to talk about the fact that you have 8 kids and you think that you're a high value man, and you're not.
One of the questions professors like to ask at the beginning of the school year is like, what interests you in this field of study? What interests you in the study of psychology? What interested you in the study of sociology? Growing up a Black woman is what brought me to psychology. And that's my favorite thing about like getting into higher levels of academia, is that like you can actually say stuff like that. Like, you can actually tell your professor like the legit reason. But yeah, after watching that Cam Newton interview, I would like to formally submit that interview as my response to that question every single time anybody asks it. Like, I will literally spend the rest of my life figuring this out. It is so interesting to me, the way men's brains work. Like, I'm thoroughly intrigued.
I want better for Black men, but they have to want better for themselves first. There's no reason why, as a grown man, you should be running around creating broken homes like your life depends on it. Cam's desire to have as many children as possible without foresight, without consideration of how the children will be affected, without care to build a solid foundation with any of the mothers of his children, tells me he's a male who doesn't know his purpose as a man. It's not my place to tell Cam Newton his purpose or rightful position as a man. It's his responsibility to seek wisdom and understanding, his job to talk to God and allow God to lead him to the right path. Right now, he's aimless, and he's clearly being led by the wrong head. I don't believe for 1 minute that Cam is afraid of marriage or trying to take his time choosing the right wife. He isn't even right himself. I believe he's comfortable being non-committal. He views himself as the prize, and he prefers to keep it that way. He's not concerned with being a father. His interest is in being the breeder of beautiful women who he nonchalantly uses up and then discards when he's done. It's a vicious cycle, but these 3 women have willingly played a leading role. Other women can learn from this circus and choose to make better choices by avoiding men like Cam, who are lost and simply time wasters. If, as a woman, money is your only motive for bearing children, you're lost as well. If you are willing to bend over backwards and be a doormat for a man who doesn't value you, you're absolutely lost as well. But there's hope. You can find yourself. You're a precious jewel, and we don't cast our pearls before swine over here. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, I applaud you. You spoke truth, and you set the record straight. One thing about it, the truth will set folks free if they choose to drink from its cup. A man can only heal if he wants to heal. He can only change for the better if he wants to change. Life is about choices, and the sooner grown men discipline themselves enough to consciously choose wisdom, the more inclined they'll be to build a solid family, which will in turn strengthen their communities. Thank you so much for watching this video. Join the conversation and share your own experiences or insights in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video, and hit the notification